Welcome back to the Do Show. For everybody listening, thank you for tuning in. You are in for a treat today. I have two new guest co-hosts and a topic that hopefully will resonate with people and will speak to people out there. But first, I want to introduce two of my friends who are on the call right now. My man Kem and my man Mac. Let's dive into this topic right here. Well, one of the biggest stories in the nation right now had involved President Trump's Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh and the sexual assault allegations made against him by Professor Dr. Christine Blasey Ford. Now, Dr. Ford alleges that Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her at a high school party back in 1982. Now, President Trump had made his thoughts known about the allegations, tweeting in part, "I have no doubt that if the attack on Dr. Ford was as bad as she says, charges would have been immediately filed with local law enforcement authorities by either her or her loving parents." Well, many people on social media believe the president's tweets to be a form of victim shaming and began sharing their own stories using the hashtag #WhyIDidn'tReport. It didn't take long for the hashtag to trend worldwide, with many brave people opening up about their assaults. So you guys, I just want to ask, why do you think this hashtag has resonated with so many people? And even like before this topic, even before this actually was a thing, this like way before, 2018, this had gone on for like many, many years.
It's mostly resonated with women, honestly, because they're the ones telling their stories. And I feel like some women out there, they have been abused, sexually assaulted, whatever you want to say, and they didn't have the guts to come out and the confidence to come out. And so, I feel like they're expressing themselves through that. And now they see that other people are doing it, they see that they can do it too. And it also dips into a little bit of female nature, bro. So like women, they tend to be like hive-minded, honestly. Like, okay, how am I gonna put this? So a girl might never give you a time of day if her friends think that you are ugly, even though she might really like you. If her friends think that you're ugly, she might not mess with you. But going back into the M2 thing and that hashtag, like I said, they're hive-minded. A lot of them are hive-minded. So they all just group together. Honestly, they all just like attract together. They're all thinking the same. And it's like a safe space for them, if you will. So they can all just express their feelings about how their experiences and everything. And then also, some of these women out here, they're straight up lying. They straight up lie and they ruin people's lives. Like we've all seen an article of an athlete who got kicked out of a college because the girl said this or said that he did this, all off of her words alone. And with Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, and that situation, when I read about it, I was like, she took 20 years to come out. And I was like, why did it take so long? Like, yeah, I know some women are scared and everything, but I'm like, and they don't have the confidence to like say anything, and they think they're gonna get shamed. But I'm like, why did it take so long? It took like 27 years for her to say, "Oh yeah, he did this to me." She only said something when he was about to be put into a higher position of power, and where he's gonna get more fame because of that position of power. And then she said something right then and there. So either she lying, she can't really remember the events that happened, which is, it's okay. I'm not about to blame you because you don't remember something. It's not really your fault. Or something did happen and she finally got the courage to say something. But my bet is probably the second one or the first one, that she lying and she can't remember some things.
What I was going to say was, I feel like people that find themselves in those kind of situations, and mind you, like those situations are very traumatic to people, you know what I mean? So it's like, of course, it would take me some time to come out about those things. You know, like I know people, you know, who have, you know, gone through situations like that, that to this day still haven't come out about, you know, a lot of stuff that's going on. You know what I mean? That's just because it's a very traumatic thing. It's very difficult to talk about. You know, so it makes sense that, you know, she took as long as she did. You know, but at the same time, I'm not saying that it didn't happen. However, I do have my suspicions, you know, because she came out just when he was about to be elected, you know. So I am really curious about that, you know. It most definitely does pique my interest for the most part. But yeah, man.
Just from your heart, why do you think this is really resonating with a lot of people in our society? Because from what I read and what's being tackled here is somebody else saying what they gone through and what has happened, and other people are sharing their stories. Now when this topic released, when this article had released, it was brought up more. The assaults, people sharing their stories, it was brought up more. And I just want to ask, like, really, why are people, not just the people who have a label, who have a title, just people in general?
I feel like part of the reason that this has gotten so big is because, like, situations like these have been happening for a long time, and nobody's been getting justice for it. Nobody's been, you know, speaking up and talking about it. And you know, it's interesting. Some of these people that commit these crimes are in fact politicians, are in fact men with labels, men that have power, you know. And it's like, when it's brought to the attention of, you know, the masses, nothing is really done about it. You know what I mean? It's because these men, so-called powers that be, are pretty much in control of everything. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not they're gonna, like, you know, self-incriminate themselves. You know, that's not good. The country that we live in is very patriarchal. Very patriarchal. Men, they try and make it a priority that they stay in power. You know, it's been that way since, you know, the Europeans came here. I'm not even gonna call, you know, the people that are in power Americans, because they're not Americans, they're foreigners. But even, you know, in Europe, before they came over here, they still treat women, you know, disrespectfully. It was a very patriarchal society, you know. So when they came over to this land as foreigners, when they kind of like took it away from the Native Americans or Native Africans that were already here, they pushed those ideologies on the natives, you know. So that kind of just took form, and it's been that way ever since, you know. And that's not right, because, you know, things are in balance. You know what I mean? You have the men up here, you know, you have the women out here, and it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that, you know. It needs to be a duality, it needs to be a balance, you know. They say behind every great man is a greater woman, you know. So it's like when you only give credit to the men, and you don't give credit to the women, you don't acknowledge the women, you messed up right there. You know what I mean? Because men, we didn't get here by ourselves. We got here with the help of a woman, you know. So that's my opinion on that.
And I agree with that. They are the ones who, you know, birthed us out. That's why we are here today, you know. And I do want to say, before we go on to commercial break, that later after this story, in response to the hashtag, a national walkout and movement of solidarity had took place on September 24th, 2018. People around the country were encouraged to wear black in support of Dr. Ford and to use the hashtag #BelieveSurvivors to show their support. Now, if you are a survivor of sexual abuse or assault, please don't suffer in silence. You're not alone. It's okay to speak out. The organization RAIN offers a safe and confidential hotline. The hotline number is 1-800-656-4673. I'm glad we were able to talk about this topic because I really believe that it's going to resonate and just speak to people out there who are scared and who think they don't have a voice. But I'm like, you have a voice, you have a say, you can speak out. It's not too late. Don't wait. We're right here for you. You're not the only one. So I hope and pray this speaks to somebody out there. And I just want to thank you guys for coming on this call and just talking about, the importance of this. We have to take a break right now, but there's more of the Adu Show after this. Stick around. Welcome back to the Adu Show. Now, let's get into our next topic. Well, one user on the website Quora recently asked this in-depth question to the readers. Is a man shallow if he wants a beautiful wife? Now, one person said it's fine as the man doesn't criticize others who don't meet his standards of beauty. However, another person said that the man should face the same criticism as a gold-digging woman who only wants to marry a wealthy man. So would you all fault a man for only to say, or I should say, so would you all fault a man for only wanting to say I do to a 10? And also, is a man shallow if he wants a beautiful wife?
I'm gonna put it this way, right? I feel like, a man isn't shallow for wanting a beautiful wife. You feel me? I feel like if you want somebody in your life that's beautiful, you really gotta be what you seek out. You know what I'm saying?
That's facts. You are what you attract. That's facts.
Because when you put out that energy that you put out in the universe will manifest tenfold, and it'll come back to you tenfold. You feel me? If not more.
Yeah.
It was like you most definitely, if beauty, love, peace, harmony, serenity, if that's what you're looking for, you have to be all those things for yourself. You feel me? Because nobody's gonna love you like you love yourself. Nobody's gonna treat you or see you like you treat and see yourself. You know what I mean? So that's the only thing I'm gonna say about wanting somebody that's beautiful in your eyes. You too have to work on yourself and meet those standards of beauty. You know what I'm saying? So no, a person's not shallow for doing that. What I will say though is if you want those things and you don't do those things yourself, you pretty much shoot yourself in the foot, self-sabotage. You want change, you gotta be the change that you seek.
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that. I really do believe that. Like, hands down.
All right. So let me go into it real quick. So a man is not shallow if he wants a beautiful woman. All right, because a lot of these women out here, they dating requirements is like the job applications, but they got the skills of a McDonald's worker. I'm like, yo, I'm like a 10, and you are a 3, and you have the balls to talk to me like this, like, oh, you don't meet my standard. I'm like, you're a 3 at best. You're like a -2 on an average date. Like they have high dating standards, and then they have the nerve to go to men who are like 8s, 9s, and then even like 20. Say, oh, you're not it. I want Mr. Perfect, but he doesn't exist because of social media and all that. Social media has messed up them in the head, and they think, oh, that man who's an alpha has all the money, he's good looking, and will be good to the kids out there. But like, in all seriousness, you might find a man who needs to those requirements, but you probably not gonna like him. She probably not gonna like him for who he is. And then beauty is how you are, how like you conduct yourself and how you look. So a girl can be good looking, but her attitude can just be like not, it's not it. Like her attitude is bad. You want to step away from her. Like you feel me? So they gonna have the nerve to talk down on me when I'm the best they will ever have, and then when I don't want to do with them, they get mad.
Yo, you speaking facts right there.
Yeah. And then like so, and also the thing is, a lot of these women, they on a low vibration. On a good day, bro, they like a 7. On a good day. But the rest of them, they like 4s and below. Like, the rest of this world out there is like 5 and below. 5 and below. And then they have the balls to think that they are 10. Nah. I know it might come off bad, like I'm hating on women, but like, nah, y'all gotta realize this at some point. Like, one day, you gonna realize, and then when there's something called the wall. They smack that jump when they 30, bro. They will never, when they hit the wall, they're not gonna get as much attention as they used to when they were 20. They're not gonna get as much likes. Men are not gonna be flocking towards them. Even the beta males who they don't really like, you feel me? They're not really gonna be coming towards them because beta males only really care about women for their looks. In all seriousness, like beta males are like, why do you think they be simping over girls? Because they look good. If she doesn't look good anymore, he's not gonna simp over her anymore. He's not gonna put himself in a submissive position to her anymore. She's not good looking. He's gonna be like, man, why am I still here? Then he will leave. He's gonna be like, this chick has nothing she can do to help me value my life, to help improve my life. She's not even that attractive. She has a bad attitude. She's always nagging. He's gonna leave her. Husband, boyfriend, or just whatever. He's going to leave her. You feel me? So that's why I say a man is not shallow when he's looking for like a beautiful woman. Because I've seen girls who are good looking, but they airheads, bruh. They have nothing up here. They can't hold a good conversation with me. All they care about is likes, TikTok, Snapchat views, and all this other stuff, makeup, Fendi, Gucci, all these other products that don't mean nothing. And then a lot of them, they get into debt because they make bad decisions or they get dumb degrees in college. And then when they do go to college, they're not even there for the right reasons. They're looking for attention instead of trying to help their career up. You feel me?
Yeah.
I do want to say this. Define beautiful. I was just talking to my mentor about this. What is beautiful to you? How do you, as an individual, whether even if this was turned to a woman, is a woman shallow? Is a man? If let's just say if this question was turned, let's just turned the other way, vice versa, is a woman shallow if she wants a beautiful man? What's your definition of beautiful? Is it looks? Is it the heart? Like that kind of thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about. But the moment they say what they are looking for, you already know their intentions. And for me, if I wanted to date, which everybody knows that's not my intention. That was one thing. One thing I was gonna say when I picked this topic, I was like, this is just gonna be something I'm not gonna say anything about. But I know, like, I have some voice in this because I know if I were to date somebody, or if I was looking for somebody, I would just look for the heart. Yes, to a certain degree, I do want you to be clean on the outside, but I don't need you to be perfect. That's for me. You don't have to look quote unquote perfect, because people will actually look like these models on magazine. They will try to copy the exact same texture and the contrast and put all this makeup on. And I'm talking about, women, when, I'm like, I don't need like a quote unquote perfect woman. In anyway, there is no perfect person or perfect woman anyway in this world. So I'm not gonna hold you to that standard or put you on a pedestal just because, just because. So I'm not. If I were to, date or look for somebody, every friend and everybody that knows me, don't go and find me somebody after this episode release. Don't you even dare. I was just, because I know someone's going to, someone's going to be, get on me. The backlash, because y'all know how I feel about this, and I'm not fit to do all this right now, okay? I still have like a life. Like, I'm trying to get myself straight, and I have a career, so please let me be me. So, like,
bro.
Yes.
Bro. Let us answer the question, man. I almost forgot what the question was.
Okay. I really just want to see somebody's heart. The heart is where I really think is beautiful. Not just the outside. I will look for, just to answer the question, I'm not looking for a woman to have the most glamorous makeup on or whatever. I don't want her to not, like, of course, like, wash up. Like, make sure you shower and you wash up and like, you lotion and you just do the necessities, and put the finishing touches on. What I mean by that is just, lotion and just the necessities. But you don't have to do the most. That's all I'm saying. I think I'm really looking for what's inside here. Is your heart really good? Are you bitter? Are you hard-headed? Are you open? Would you all fault a man, or would you all fault, well, for us, would you all fault a wife for only wanting to say I do to a 10?
To a 10, man?
Yeah.
If she's worth it, yeah. I can understand. I mean, because, like, at a certain point, you need to know your value. You need to know what you can do. And if you're not bringing to nobody else's life, don't expect them to even think about marrying you. This applies to women and men. If a woman is not helping out a man in his life or bringing any value towards his life besides his sexual needs, then he won't marry you. He'll just keep you on the side, and vice versa with a man. If you're not really helping her out with anything besides his sexual needs, or she can go find another dude. She's not really gonna think about settling down with you. If you're not on your grind, if you're not helping yourself out first, then she's not gonna come into your life and be an adding factor. She's not gonna be an addition to better your life.
Ty, you got anything?
Nah, but what I was gonna say to answer your first question, you were saying if the roles were switched.
Yeah, if the roles were switched, yeah. To which, if it was, is a woman shallow if she wants a beautiful man, a beautiful husband?
Yeah, mine's still gonna be the same. Even if, you feel me, if it was switched, she would still have to be what it is that she's looking for. You feel me? Because you attract what you desire. By nature. You know what I'm saying? So, if you want a beautiful man, somebody that's good, that's kind, that's loving you, that's working. You feel me? You gotta do all those things. You feel me? Because like I said before, you attract what you desire. You know what I'm saying? When you put out the energy, it'll come back to you. Simple. So whatever what you think about, things that you speak, all those things are gonna come back to you at the end of the day. So it'll be the same. And what was your second question?
Wait, what?
Come on, baby. What was your second question?
Would you all fault a woman for only wanting to say I do to attend?
Okay. Well, firstly, my question is, if you really in the eye of the beholder, then why is it like a...
Wait, hold on. Say that again. Say that.
So there's beauty in the eyes of the beholder. Why are we judging people based on degrees and scales? That's not cool. Because you can't say, hey, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and then you judge somebody, or you, I guess, rate somebody based on, you know, how they look. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Because everybody looks at beauty differently. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people, they kind of contradict themselves, and there are a lot of hypocrites out here that, you know, they talk about all this beauty being, you know, somebody's each person's own vision, each person's own ideology, but then turn around and do that stuff, you know, raping people and stuff. So do you really believe that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, or are you just saying that because everybody else is saying it? Are you just jumping on the bandwagon? Are you really being true to yourself, or are you just going with the crowd? You feel me? And that right there, for me, you going with the crowd, that's a turn off right there. I need somebody that's gonna, so I have somebody, but I mean, if I didn't, the person that I was looking for would have to be somebody that rejects the status quo. You know what I mean? That walks the path less traveled by. You feel me? Because if everybody's doing the same thing, if everybody looks the same, what makes you so different? What makes you so special from me? Nothing. Because we all doing the same thing, we all thinking the same way. Slave mindset, you know what I mean? Eurocentric mindset.
Yeah.
You gotta break out of that, especially as Africans. And cool.
Hey, bro, all I gotta say is, even though people be like, oh, beauty is in your eyes is a beholder, bro, I'm like, bro, cut the BS when it comes to some people. Like, there are some people who are just ugly as hell. There's some people who are just undesirable. Nobody wants to touch them. Not even get close, like, or get close to them. Nobody wants to touch them. There are people, men and women, I've seen it. Like, no, a woman don't want no fat man. And a man should not want no fat woman, bro.
Well, hey.
Look, this is what I'm gonna say, because this show, I want everybody to be real. This is like the real. Like, I want everybody to be real. Hold on, let me just say this. I know there are people out there who are watching this show who know that they don't like certain people, or they don't like a certain size, or they don't like chicken legs, you know.
Going back to what I was saying, it's like, people say beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. I'm like, yo, there's some ugly people out there, men and women, who are just ugly as hell. You would never want to date. You would never even want to talk to some of them people. But you like, oh, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. I'm like, cut the BS. Because I know there's some girls who are good looking, they're like 10, they be patties, but their attitude is trash, bro.
Yeah, come on, somebody. Come on, somebody.
Mm-hmm. And then your attitude is better because, like, how you act is long term. That's really like who you are. You feel me? Your thinking process, that's who you are. Your looks gonna fade. The girls who are 60, like the girls who are 20 right now, when they turn 60, they're not gonna be getting attention like that. A lot of them gonna be lonely. They gonna have hella cats in their house, a few dogs. They're not gonna get no attention. And then going on to the other one where it was like, is a woman, should we look down at a woman if she's trying to find a good man? Hey, women have the advantage, bro. They can find a good man. A good man, because think about it, I can't have a kid without a woman, bro. Like, if a woman don't pick me and I try and force it, it's not gonna be good for me, because we all know what that starts with, and it's the R word that nobody wants to be accused of. So the woman, like, for example, she has to let me into her life, and she has to choose me to come into her house. That's her life. That's how she living. You feel me? So I can't just force myself, keep knocking on the door like what a simple dude. I can ring the doorbell one time, and if she gonna come and open up the door and let me in, that's on her. You feel me? And yeah, they have the advantage. They can let in who they want. So whenever I hear about a girl who keeps having an attendance of these abusive men, I'm like, why are you choosing them? I'm like, you have the advantage. I'm like, you could tell them no. And then they'll just have to leave. They'll have to respect it. It is what it is. They'll have to go. But you keep letting them in your life. That's your fault. That's not mine. Don't blame them. You knew who they were. And since you have a pattern of them, you knew exactly what they do. But you liked it anyway, and you still let them in. Now, if it was one dude, then I would say, hey, I wasn't really you, because you're not really new to that. But when it's like 5, no. You know exactly too well of how they act, how they behave. You feel me?
I'm gonna say this, right? I'm gonna be real quick with it. So, Mac, when you had brought up, women being with abusive men, you got to think about it, right?
How to what?
When you said some women, go with abusive men, and they have a pattern of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like most women deal with that kind of thing because they grew up, with abusive fathers. So
Yeah, I know, 100%, 100%.
yeah,
That's true, but it depends on the situation. Not everybody grows up differently. That's another thing I want to say. Everybody grows up differently, so people will approach life differently and will present you something, and you're gonna either choose to take it or not to take it. I don't know. I hope that wasn't difficult for anybody to understand, but that's just life because everybody lives life differently. But go ahead.
yeah, man. Well, I just want to say that like everybody grows up differently. You know what I mean? People have different experiences. You know what I mean? If you, let's say, for example, if you're a man, you grew up, with your mom raising you. You feel me? You saw your mom's a strong black woman. When you go search for a wife or somebody to be with, those qualities you would search for because your mother set the standard. You know what I'm saying? If you were a woman who grew up with a strong black father or a strong father that was supportive, that's what you would look for because your father set the standard for you. You know what I mean? So it's like you said, everybody grows up differently. It's all about who set the standard. You know what I mean? But that's all for me, man.
Like, what I gotta say, when I was talking, I was more directed to like the women who grew up in the suburbs, who have 2-parent household and everything is really good for them, but they try and live this fast lifestyle, and they try and think like, oh, it's cool to be around these thugs and everything. I'm like, no, it's not cool. And I'm like, you're messing yourself up in the end. And I was like, also, I know like people's trauma affects them today. Like, here's a quote that I heard from a channel. I think it was like, Think Before You Sleep. They said, trauma in your early life becomes attraction in your later years. So basically, the trauma you face as a kid is what you're going to be attracted to in your older life. Like, so if you have a strong, domineering mother, you're going to be probably attracted to masculine and strong women. You know what I mean? By human nature, people, we're like, man, we're designed to stay away from like obesity and all that type of stuff. Why do we not find fat people attractive? Naturally, it's like, oh, they're not as attractive as person who's in shape. But like deep down, we know that fat people usually have underlying conditions. So we also want to produce the most healthiest offspring. So we're not going to deal with people who are fat because they have underlying conditions that can impact the health of future offspring. You feel me?
When you say you said a lot of people wouldn't look to somebody that's like fat, I guess.
Yeah.
What did you mean by it? Because like when you hear fat, a lot of times people don't think straight to, okay, hold on, before I ask that question, let me say this too. Not only is beauty in the eyes of the beholder, but what is ugly is different to people also. I mean, you have some things that are just, I don't like that, I'm staying away from that. Yeah, that's human nature. But at the same time, they're like, there are things that people like that others don't, you know what I mean? This comes back to the whole eye of the beholder thing. But you were saying that most people wouldn't normally go for somebody that's fat. And you brought up obese people. I understand that, but when you use the word fat, so when people are like fat, a lot of them don't automatically assume obese, right? Because think about it, there are people that are you have people that are chubby, then you have people that are a little bit thicker, you know what I mean, leading up to obesity, you know what I mean. So I guess it would depend on what you would identify as That, you know what I mean? I really don't like using that word because like that right there, kind of, mess.
It depends on how you identify that person. That's why I was saying, what is your definition of beautiful? You can't, or what's your definition of ugly? Like you said.
Yeah.
Alright. So if you hop on a new, nice, like fancy scale that tests your water weight, your muscle mass, bone density, and your what percent of your body is fat, like your total body fat percentage. If your body, I forgot what it's called, but if it's like over 17, you're starting to become fat. If you're in between like 20 to 30, you're fat. If you're like 40 to 60 and beyond, you're obese and you're heading to morbidly obesity. And then we can also just tell when somebody's fat. Like if a girl has on a bikini at the beach, I can see like the fat coming off her, then I can see that she's fat. Like flabby skin is different. Like the flabby skin, like some people might get on the arms, that's different. But I'm talking about when I can literally see fat on your stomach, no. When it impacts your body that you're not even curvy as a woman anymore, nah, then that's fat, and that means you need to deal with it. You need to go fix your diet. You need to eat better. You need to exercise more, sleep better. You feel me?
I will say this, right? So like, okay, so currently where we live right now, like this whole American society, government. Well, going back just for a moment, of course we know that the so-called Americans, which they really are, they came here from Europe, you know what I mean? So they already had their own standards they already had their own standards of beauty, you know what I mean? And they particularly like women that were really skinny, you know? Now, when you think about us as when you think about us as Africans, right? Over, where we come from, we enjoy women that, have, meaning about it, you know what I mean? Plus size, if you will, you know what I mean? So it's like, when I hear, guys say, oh, I don't like, this is just my opinion, I could be wrong because, like I said, beauty's not ideal. What may be appealing to me may not be appealing to you, but when I hear people say, oh, I don't like skinny women, you know what I mean? I get that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, it seems like, and this is not just with, beauty, but with a lot of things, especially as African men, I feel like we've been so brainwashed, if you will, or overtaught, European standards of beauty, and we've never really had a chance to look at, beauty from the lens of our culture. You know what I mean?
I know we look at here in America, we used European standards to reflect our standards, right?
Yeah.
But just because everybody's doing something, that don't mean we should have to flock to it. Like America, they could have easily made their own standard, but they chose to
follow the
Europe.
crowd. Yeah.
Basically, they chose to look at Europe, but they could have. It was a new land. It was a fresh start for them, and they could have started completely fresh. But they still let the baggage of Europe and Britain carry over to them and their society, even still today.
Yeah, you're speaking facts right there, bro.
Yeah. I can testify.
Yeah. Shit, dude, you got that. You know what I'm talking about, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hear you. It was just like they chose to still go along with what they're familiar with instead of branching off and being brand new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, and I just found that interesting because it's like you said, they chose the do what they were used to. You know what I mean? Did we really know what we used to?
What is your normal? We all are here, and we're living in a society where we call what you said the Europeans were, adapted to. We call that normal because that's what we follow. And so now, when we have kids, when parents have kids, or when people just have kids, they grow up. They are going to see this society and what they do and whatever, of course, the kids do. They're going to grow up thinking that same mentality, thinking that's normal. Even though you as an individual have to make a decision on what you think is normal, what you want for your life.
Most definitely.
Especially in a relationship.
Let me tackle that one real quick.
Especially in a relationship, because before you say anything, especially in a relationship, because for me, and I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash on this, but for me, it's not just all about the looks. I'm not trying to impress anybody at all. I'm really not. But that's just me. Everybody out there, I know I got a bunch of friends who want to have the hottest chicks, and I get that, but of course, sometimes, I mean, like, you better pray, like, if you want, y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to not to say this, like, go ahead, Ethan, before I start going on a rant.
Alright, so, like, you say normal, right? But normal ain't always good. See, look, I'm gonna use the black community for example. I'm gonna use our community. We have 78% of the people who grew up. They grew up in a single parent household. But to be more specific, single mother household, right? That's not really a good thing. It's shown that single motherhood can be almost an instant gateway to jail. Lower education, mental health problems, higher stress levels. So single motherhood is not good, but that's normal for us. Like if a black man says he didn't grow up with his father, we expect that to be normal. But in the Asian community, if they said, "Oh, I didn't have my father, I didn't have my mother," and they just left and they were like still alive, the other parent was still alive and they weren't living together, they'd be like, "That's absurd."
Yeah.
That's not their normal, but that's normal to us, and our normal ain't good. Look at this now. We all in prison. We don't have that much power. We're not in positions of power. We don't have no good finances. A lot of black people are poor. Like, we share half a percentage point of wealth in this country, in America, and we're 13% of the population. So I'm gonna repeat something that Ice Cube said. He said 13 people sharing half a plate of food. That's not gonna end good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely, bro. I feel you on that, though, because it's like,
shout out to Ice Cube up in here in the building. No, I'm just playing. Yeah. All right, go. No, stop. I'm not trying to. Go ahead, stop. I can't talk. No, I'm not talking.
Like I was gonna say, when you go like in a one parent household, you feel me? You only see one, like, for example, like if you're an African man, you're growing up, raised by your mother, your mother then becomes your mother and your father. And that's very difficult because, a woman can't teach a man how to be a man. You know what I mean? That's where the duality comes in. You gotta have both aspects. You know what I mean? Ancestral, balance. So if you don't have one or the other, you feel me? you as a person, the child you're raising is going to be, um, unbalanced. You know what I mean? Which is like why it's important to have like father figures and things like that. You know what I mean? Because all of these things, going back to the way you were raised, all of these things have a huge effect on your perceptions of beauty, your perceptions of what is ugly and what isn't. You know what I mean? It has an effect on everything. You know, and at the same time, it's like once you leave home, you feel me? It's now up to you to decide. What will I do? With this information that I was raised with. Will I, continue to run with it? Or will I seek something that's better? You know what I mean? Further. You know what I mean? And will I, unlearn to relearn? All those things have a huge effect on you too. You know what I mean? Because that was the process for some people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been told,
Everybody grows up differently. And not everybody needs a male figure in their life to get through life. Not everybody needs a woman to get through life. I'm talking about kids. Some kids, because I got, I have a diverse group of friends that come from different backgrounds, and I'm not just talking about race, I'm talking about their mentality. And the way it works is, I have a friend, I'm not going to say her name, but I have a friend who, her dad's in jail, and she's living with her grandmother. And then I have another friend who's in the same situation. His dad's in jail, and he's living with his grandmother. Now, one of them right now is, I guess you can say, is struggling right now in life. He needs help. But the other person has their head on straight. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said before, everybody grows up differently, and we can't just assume that, even as I'm learning, we can't just assume that people need a male figure to guide them. Yeah, to a certain degree, yes, from what I agree, to a certain degree. However, it just does not work for everybody. Even if you do have a mom and dad, and they are giving you wisdom. A lot of people, a lot of kids nowadays need a male figure in their life to keep their head on straight, so they'll be able to operate. And yes, you do need that mother figure, but you also need that male figure. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. Some people can go without. Some people can have some help, and some people need all the help they can get from someone guiding them. I know my time's up, and I just want to thank you guys for joining this call. Any final thoughts? Nope.
Yeah.
Good.
I would just say the kids need a strong masculine presence in their life, the men and the women. So little girls, they know exactly what type of a good man to look for in their later years. Because if they don't know what to look for, they're just gonna be going everywhere, and they're just gonna gravitate towards what makes them feel the best, honestly. And then when it comes to not having a masculine presence over there, see, here's what happens, right? My parents were separated when I was a little kid, right? When I was with my father, I was not nice, but I was strong. Nothing could break me, but I was not a nice person. But when I was with my mother, I was soft. I became softer. So I noticed that you need to get that compassion from your mother, that niceness from your mother, but you need that backbone from your father. My father made me want to tell his people I know. I thank my father to the end of this day. If it wasn't for him, I'd be weak as hell, pushover. One of these beta males that I'm always complaining about. And one of these simps. So I feel like you need both. When you have one, you go too extreme on
on being tough. And you have the other, you go too extreme on being nice and being soft. That's why we have a lot of these beta males today, because these mothers are telling their kids, oh yeah, just give her flowers and keep being persistent. But no, you shouldn't deal with her if she doesn't want to deal with you. That's all I really gotta say.
I just want to say this last thing, and I'm going to let you guys go. I have a friend who was in the music industry. Who his father died when he was at a young age. A friend in the music industry, his father had died, and he's living with his mother and his stepfather. Now, let's just say, right now he was living with his mother, and his head is so on straight. And he's another person. I have so many mentors. Of course, I have my parents, and I have people who guide me in the right direction. However, I surround myself with people. Who are going to push me in the right direction. That's another thing. Your surroundings tell you a whole lot about who you are and who that other person is. Watch who they hang out with.
Facts.
How they act, how they present themselves. What's quote unquote normal to them. Because Kem, we were just talking yesterday, like, you know, the way you enjoy in everyday life are your nutrients.
Say it again.
So I'm just saying, and the way you enjoy in everyday life are your nutrients. It's what you feed yourself. It's what you act upon. It's what you do. So
yes, sir.
I'm not trying to get so spiritual or anything, but it's just real talk. And with that being said, that's all the time I have for today. If you would like to view clips from today's show, just head on over to Dude's YouTube channel for more exclusive content. That's me. Also, if you want to stream full episodes, head on over to Castbox.fm or Anchor.fm. Both are available for download on the Google Play Store and App Store. And finally, make sure to tune in to The Adu Show only on YouTube.com. Love having you guys on. Hope to have you guys on again. Stay cool. Live life. We out.